What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Triangle. David Huffman, Dan Kenny, TJ Hopkins. First, we got to start with happy birthday, Dan Kenny.
Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And now we're going to start. Last time we went in, we previewed a little bit of the March Madness, and we talked about our bracket. So today, we're going to talk about how's our bracket doing.
2 days later.
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days later.
My bracket is busted. They're both busted. I had one with Iowa State winning it all. I had another with Iowa State going to the Final Four.
Oh, you had Iowa State winning them all?
In this other bracket, yeah.
In his upset bracket, he had Iowa State.
So yeah, this bracket's probably. I'm like a dead last in the pool with my dad and all his coworkers. I'm a dead last.
Aw, Dave.
Yeah.
Right, I would have been perfectly fine if Baylor would have just used some size against Georgia State, and also if a ref knows an airball shot when he sees one.
Oh my God, that call.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched that replay, and the ball is clearly going wide right.
On the goaltending?
On the goal.
Yes, SMU, UCLA. That call,
it's just
it's human error, I understand, but there has to be some way where you can get a better angle, a better camera angle, something.
That ref needs
that call was bad.
He needs to get dropped down the level. He does not need to ref college basketball anymore. He needs to go back to high school.
Dude, I think the officiating a lot of the games was questionable. They had foul calls. I'm like, where's the foul? You can't let him even touch it anymore.
But that call right there just tops it.
The critical moment and everything that was hanging in the balance on that one call, that.
It's granted, maybe the SMU player should have waited just a little bit longer for the ball.
It wasn't a goaltend. There was no chance where that ball was going to go into the hoop. But it was an air ball. It was never going to go in.
But the fact that the SMU player jumped clearly out of that, he jumped he didn't give the refs. I feel like the SMU player didn't give the refs enough judgment.
Was that basketball going to go in?
No.
There was no way it was going in. It was wide to the right.
Was it going to hit the rim?
No, it wasn't. No. It was a total air ball. There was no way it was going
jacked in. Up, trying to beat the shot clock shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Bryce Alford, he had a phenomenal game. He finished 9 of 11 from 3, but that one right there wasn't going to go in.
There was no opportunity where it was ever going to go in, and that call was.
And it cost SMU.
It cost SMU the game. It was 3 points. They were winning by 2. All of a sudden UCLA was up by 1 on a bogus call, where the referee basically decided who won the game.
And
that just seems. I hate when refs make decisions where they defy games and make decisions like that.
So, do you think UCLA is going to get what's coming to them against UAB, an 11 versus a 14?
UCLA might win. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent
Kevin
on their roster. There's no reason there's no reason they're as bad. Their record, they're not as bad as their record. They can hang with some teams. So yeah, they could potentially beat UAB, who I can't believe beat Iowa State. Iowa State looked they looked terrible. They were just.
What makes it so bad, Iowa State was a lot of people's sleeper team. If they felt if there was one team that was going to make a surprising run, it would have been them. But when you can't beat UAB,
but they have tradition in the tournament of doing stuff like this in the tournament.
Okay, so let me propose a question. Every team played their first round matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Which team was most impressive?
Kentucky? Yeah, Kentucky was just as dominant as you could ever expect.
Villanova
was ridiculous. Yeah.
The thing with Kentucky is I expected them to roll through Hampton. With Villanova, I didn't really expect them to pick apart Lafayette, which is a 16 seed. I assumed Villanova was going to win.
But the last time we talked, we did say if a 16 seed was to upset a 1 seed, it would have been that game.
Did they win by the most?
And that's the biggest blowout.
Yeah. Besides maybe the Iowa-Davidson game, which I didn't see coming either.
I think it was 90-45 at one point.
Duke beat Robert Morris by 20 or more. Because, Robert Morris did cut the lead to 10, but then Duke just turned it on.
Speaking of upsets, that Iowa-Davidson thing is just...
that's so unexpected.
So many people picked Davidson to not only win this game, but to potentially beat Gonzaga in the next round. And all of a sudden they get beat by 30 by a middle of the run Big Ten team. They're not they were never really competitive really in the Big Ten, and all of a sudden they get whooped up. They whoop up on Davidson by 30. 30.
Let me propose another question. Which team do you feel is on upset alert in this round, the round of 32? If you had to just scan through this bracket real fast, which do you think a number 2 seed might fall? Do I dare say number 1?
I could see Michigan State beating Virginia.
You can see Virginia.
I can see that.
I mean, I have Virginia going all the way to the national championship game, but the Michigan State fan in me also sees that. Like, I've loved Michigan State since I was like
Tom Izzo.
10.
They're a well-coached team, and I think they're probably better coached than Virginia. Virginia is more talented. They play better defense. But,
if I had to pick another one, I could also see NC State beating Villanova.
I can see that happen.
I mean, like, I can also...
Even though NC State barely beat LSU.
I can also see...
But that comeback in that game was really impressive, because LSU was bouncing them, and then all of a sudden NC State's like, no,
I can also see Butler beating Notre Dame. Like, I would consider that an upset. Like
Notre Dame didn't look that good.
A 6 seed, like yeah, I can see a 6 seed beating the 3 seed. And if I had to choose,
a big upset.
I would consider that a big. Especially like comparing the two programs, like I would definitely
If a number
definitely
3
be an upset.
seed falls at this point, I'd say it's kind of an upset.
Okay,
that's an upset.
But I'm agree with David. I feel like NC State has a legitimate shot at beating Villanova, despite how impressive Villanova looked. And a couple days from now, I'll probably be biting my tongue because Villanova looks that good. But I'm probably
the thing is with NC State, if they get down by a lot like they did against LSU against Villanova, it'll be a wrap. Like, there won't be this comeback. The game will just be over.
Another potential upset. I can see Wichita State beating Kansas.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that?
Yeah.
Wichita State.
Like, Bill Self has literally pushed the game away, talking about something like, we don't need to play them. Why do we need to play them? As in, like, he's like downgrading Wichita State. It's just
I feel like the people that put together the tournament, they put that matchup as a potential next round.
I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah, I guarantee they did it on purpose. Because Kansas is like, no, we're not playing you, Wichita State. You just stay away from us. We're not going to play you. And now they have to play each other.
This game might be the most compelling matchup in the round of 32. Wichita State and Kansas.
I think it has the most storylines attached to it, because imagine if Wichita State beats Kansas, maybe they could like sway recruiting in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
Like you could like start to see some of those Kansas recruits go to Wichita State, and like
And what about potential in-season matchups? Like if Wichita State beats Kansas, maybe Bill Self is swayed to like.
I think they'll have something to prove at that point. I think they'll have to play.
You know what? Like, y'all beat us in the tournament. Hey, put them on the schedule. Like, matter of fact, put them first on the schedule. I want my revenge, like, first game of the season. Like, I want that right now.
Yeah. So do we believe in Georgia State beating Xavier? Are they beating the Musketeers?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm not a big believer.
I think their flame is about to burn out. I think they had that one moment, and now they're just.
I mean, like if they are going to beat Xavier, they're going to need more from Kevin Ware. Like granted, first game was against Baylor. That's a tough matchup.
They're physical. They play rough. Tight defense.
They're bigger, so like don't get me like if they're going to beat Xavier, they're going to need more from Kevin Ware. Like 8 points against Xavier will not cut it.
All right.
Another thing that I could see happening is I could see Dayton beating Oklahoma. I know you're big on Oklahoma, but Dayton looked sharp last night.
They did look sharp.
They looked really sharp last night. I feel like if there was a team that could beat an Oklahoma as like a lower seed, it could be this Dayton team. Like they never should have been in that playing game in the first place. They're good enough to be a 5 or 6 seed in this tournament because they're really good, and they have that guy, the Bahir guy, who was just a manimal last night. Like he has
Kevin Fareed manimal.
No, I wouldn't say that. He's more of a I don't know. The problem is
he's
like,
home.
Yeah,
he's his
like,
home animal.
He's like if you try to put a big guy on him, he's just gonna blow by him, and he's too big for smaller guys. So he causes all kinds of matchup problems. He's like the Kevin Durant of the NCAA tournament.
The matchup I'm really interested in seeing is number 10 Ohio State versus number 2 Arizona. I have Arizona winning that game, but I do feel like Ohio State is going to give them some headaches. Because D'Angelo Russell, he put up 28 last game, which was more than I expected him to put up.
D'Angelo Russell could start for the Sixers today.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
And the Knicks.
Yeah, and the Knicks. All right, yeah.
But Alexei Shved's been playing well for the Knicks.
When he's not throwing it into the stands.
But the one thing that concerns me is the minutes that D'Angelo Russell is getting. He played 44 minutes.
He's young. He can handle it.
D'Angelo Russell could be a James Harden type of player coming out of
Yeah.
college basketball.
I could see that argument.
He's a big time scorer. He can get to the hoop. I mean, James Harden's his own beast, but D'Angelo Russell can play.
Them left-handed ball players, man. It's just
But I think
I can see this matchup actually going down to the wire, going down to the last couple minutes.
I can see that.
Then maybe Arizona making
one
more.
For the sake
play.
of my bracket, I wish that Arizona just bounces Ohio State easily. my bracket needs that.
All right, let me propose one last question. Which number 1 seed do you think is going to have the toughest matchup with their opponent? So it's going to be like Kentucky against Cincinnati?
Or Villanova, I guess.
I can see Wisconsin struggling against Oregon just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'll take Villanova, NC State. I think NC State can legitimately beat Villanova. I think NC State's solid. But if they get down a lot like they did against LSU, it'll be over fast.
I mean, if NC State plays Villanova the way they played Duke, then we're going to have a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like you say, if NC State gets down early,
it'll be a wrap.
Over and done with.
And San Diego State looked pretty impressive yesterday against St. John's. You know, St. John's is kind of a struggling team right now. San Diego State faces Duke, but San Diego State has, I think, the second best defense in the nation. Or something.
I don't think they have.
They don't have the size to contend with Duke. Like no one's matching up with Okafor. That's a man.
I think
that is a
perimeter. San Diego State could lock him down, but then Okafor is going to be the real difference.
Yeah,
that is a man child. Like I saw a play last night where he they have a high low like big man lobbing the big man. He caught the lob and that ball looked like my head in his hands, and he just went like.
It looked like your head.
Like, dude, that was
like T.J. Hopkins' head, right?
like the ball in his hands looks so small.
Well, he's just got like giant hands.
It's just like I have pretty big hands. Like I can tell you right now, I have some pretty big hands. The way like his hands just like suffocate the ball. They engulf the ball.
It's kind of like Kawhi Leonard's hands, the claw.
Yes, like it's just like his hands are huge, and the way he just clamps down, like no one's ripping him up. Like if he puts the ball on the floor, like you know how like when big man like put the ball on the floor, like lose it easily. You can't do that to him.
Okay, it's now time for our last word. TJ, do you have anything else you would like to say about this bracket before we move on?
I mean, refs do a better job. Don't be deciding the outcome of games. Like let the players decide the outcomes of the games. And big teams use your size against smaller teams, i.e. Baylor versus whoever, or whoever has size, use it. It's gonna benefit you. Use it.
I don't know why I bother to put brackets together every year. I never get even close. Like I don't know.
My last word is simple. Cincinnati, look out.
Okay, one more thing. Like what you said, like you don't know why you do brackets. Like last year, I was pretty damn good in the round of 64. I picked my first 20 games right, so my hopes were pretty high.
I'm just terrible at it. Every year I just make a bracket and it's always garbage.
I'm just trying. Like I figured, like since I did my first 20 last year, maybe I'll just get a little bit further. But I mean, Iowa State just kind of said.
Yeah.
Baylor screwing everyone over. I like the bracket idea because it gives me a reason to like care about games otherwise I wouldn't care about, because there's no other reason for you to watch the NCAA tournament. There's no teams I really have like a vested interest in.
Who's gonna watch Utah SF Austin?
The only reason I wanted to watch it is so I can get it right in my bracket. So I think the bracket has a good element to it, but I'm always terrible at it, and I don't know why I even bother half the time. So we're going to segue into the NBA, and we had some really big news in the NBA yesterday. Kevin Durant's being shut down from all basketball activity.
Probably shut down for the whole season.
They haven't said that, but it says it's looking like that's going to be the case. Mm-hmm. So we have the Thunder now, who have Ibaka is going to be out another 4 to 6 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, right.
And then Kevin Durant is a question mark at best to come back this season. Like
doubtful, I'd say.
So we could segue into two different ways. Injuries this season has been... I can't remember a season where I've watched the NBA and there have been this many injuries.
To top-notch players.
Star players that are getting injured.
Carmelo,
Blake Griffin.
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe. Derrick Rose. Jimmy Butler, I guess.
Durant.
Wade. Everybody.
Poor Bosh.
Like
Dwight Howard has missed
I don't remember a season where there's been this many injuries. And also on top of that, the Thunder, is that window, that championship window, closing, or is it closed?
For this season, I'd say it's barely open. Like it's hanging on the threads of Russell Westbrook's triple doubles.
You got another one last night.
It's
like,
closed.
Of course.
Their championship hopes for this season closed.
I'm not gonna say all together. Like next year,
They're not.
But the thing is,
they
they have a lot of like all of those guys they traded for are going to be all free agents. They're going to lose probably everyone. Deion Waiters will probably gone. They've been probably re-signing as Cantor.
They gotta keep.
They have to keep Cantor.
So, but yeah, with the money, what number would you keep a Cantor at? Like, what if they get like a poison pill contract, like somebody gives him like some ridiculous deal and they'll have to match it? I just don't see them doing that.
I don't need it because you can find him. You can find an Enes Cantor anywhere. Like,
Sam Presti will. He's a smart man in terms of signing players. I'm pretty sure he's gonna do his best to retain.
And then on top of that, you have Kevin Durant, who's going to be going into the last year of his contract. So I think it matters how far the team goes to keep Kevin Durant happy there.
I mean,
I don't know. Just the Thunder. I think this is like this series of unfortunate events. Like 2 seasons ago, they had the Russell Westbrook injury. Last year, they had Ibaka. Like this. So since they traded James Harden, they have not been able to get to that same level, and they haven't been able to replace James Harden with anyone.
no.
So if you could go back and make that trade again, would you have traded James Harden or would you have traded Ibaka?
Ibaka, you gone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Well, who's gonna play defense?
the team.
Steven Adams?
Who's gonna be a rim protector? Steven
The
Adams.
team.
Do you put Serge Ibaka does? He just adds another element to the Thunder.
But he's getting out of that element. He's
Shooting
trying.
threes.
He's shooting threes and
He's kinda good at it.
He does shoot a decent percentage from three. Let's not knock on him.
But it's like
He's got a good shot.
But
Good
that's
stroke.
not what. That's not why OKC brought him in.
That's not the reason that they picked him over Harden.
That's exactly like if they wanted someone to shoot threes, they would have kept Harden.
Yeah.
But like if going back to that trade, like if they'd have kept Harden, like if they have Harden on this team right now and they lose Ibaka, but they still make the acquisitions that they do, like if they bring in an Enes Kanter and like they have Steven Adams.
The problem with keeping Harden is that Harden wanted to start and he wanted to have a team of his own, and I think that he would have been. I think at some point he might have been a locker room problem where Serge Ibaka will never be that. He is a hard hat lunch pail guy who will just go and do his job and like be a contributor to a team that can win a championship. James Harden wanted a team, and he wanted to be the man. And when you're on a team with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant,
It's kinda hard to be
the chance of you being the man are very slim.
To go along with that, like Harden requires a lot of shots. He needs to take a lot of shots, and on a team like you said with Westbrook and Durant, you're not going to be getting all those shots.
Like, let's not act like he wasn't getting his shots. Like how many?
He was coming off the bench.
For Tabo though. I mean,
like,
he was playing starters minutes, but they just wanted Tabo to start just for the
defensive purposes. But it's just like because let's be real, like this is like the best defensive year James Harden has probably ever had.
Or ever will have.
Probably ever will. Like right, exactly. Probably ever will have. But it's just like let's not act like he wasn't getting his shots. Like I have to say like if Harden's on this team right now, and Durant is having his injury crisis,
they'd be better off.
They'd be better off. Like
now.
Like, they wouldn't be fighting to hold on to an 8 seed.
But in situations like this, you can't look at it just in a slice. You have to look at the entire pie. Yeah, in situations where
2020,
where Kevin Durant's injured or whatever, yeah, James Harden would be more beneficial in their system. But overall, James Harden's defense is
questionable at best.
Yes, certainly. And Serge Ibaka is one of the primetime defenders in the NBA and one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. And on a team with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, who aren't necessarily known for their defense.
Russell Westbrook is known for his defense.
Russell
Westbrook is an elite defender.
I wouldn't say an elite defender. He plays hard at times, but sometimes
that's an elite defender.
He's over aggressive, and
I'll give you that. I think that, but that's what makes him a good defender because he's so willing to like jump passing lanes and like.
But he won't stay in your face like a Tony Allen. Like sometimes he leaves big holes.
There aren't that many Tony Allens in the league. Like Tony Allen and Cephalosha and what?
Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler.
Like when OKC and the Clippers play against each other, who's guarding Durant now? Chris Paul.
It's probably Matt Barnes.
It's Chris Paul. They put Chris Paul on.
And who guards Westbrook?
Yeah, points. Yeah, they have. And Kawhi Leonard's another great.
It's like when OKC and the Clippers are going at it. It's Chris Paul guarding Kevin Durant.
And then who guards Westbrook?
Who does guard Westbrook?
Matt Barnes.
I mean, sometimes they throw Redick on him.
No, dude, Matt Barnes guards Kevin Durant, dude.
They usually play zone defense.
Oh, okay.
And but when they do go, man, Chris Paul takes it amongst himself to go to guard
He's
Kevin
a dog.
Durant. Exactly.
Chris Paul, I just can't. I can't imagine that's the scheme that they would run, where they would have.
They've done it.
Underside Chris Paul, try to guard Kevin Durant.
Damn, you're a Clippers fan.
I've seen with my own eyes.
Maybe they do it all. Maybe it comes off of switches and stuff.
To an extent,
it's worked.
Yeah, but nobody can really guard Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but I mean, Chris Paul's had more success than other players.
In games where Kevin Durant has played LeBron, Kevin Durant averages like 30 points a game. It's like, you can guard Kevin Durant, but he still gets 30. Like,
no matter
it seems like every superstar has their kryptonite. What's LeBron's? LeBron's is Chicago. Every time he plays Chicago,
it's
Luol Deng.
Yes,
it's Luol Deng.
And the cramps.
Yeah, Luol Deng seems to do a really good job on LeBron.
And Jimmy Butler does as well.
Yeah, I guess
he holds his own.
Jimmy Butler's like Luol Deng 2.0.
He holds his own,
but more athletic.
So now we're gonna talk about the injuries. Is this like the most injury season you can ever remember? Is there something that can be done with the NBA? Like maybe shorten the season, maybe space out the games, maybe better. Is there anything that can be done?
Maybe the coaches can rest their starters more frequently than what they do.
But you have to, like you said, fans get annoyed when you don't they go to games when they're like, oh, Steph Curry. Like Steve Kerr had to write an email to people who complained that he benched his starters, and it's like. They've earned the right to rest players, and yet people are still going to complain.
Maybe not bench them all at once. Maybe sit one guy a night.
I feel like resting. I like the Greg Popovich mentality of resting his players, like
his old players.
Well, yeah.
Tim Duncan did not play.
The ageless wonder.
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like going down the stretch, like heading into the playoffs, like those playoff teams. Like I feel like when there's like a week, 2 weeks into the season, left in the season, I'm perfectly fine with resting your players, your key players.
But you don't want to rest them to the point where they gather rust.
But the problem with that is that fans pay a lot of money for tickets to see superstars, and then when they go to games and the Steph Curry's all benched, there's none of these guys aren't there. Don't you feel a little ripped off when usually you're gonna go to a bowl game and you're gonna go watch the San Antonio Spurs and you think, oh, I'm gonna go get to see Tim Duncan, I'm gonna get to see Manu, I'm gonna get to see Parker. I'm gonna see this big three, the last time they'll probably ever be together because Manu might retire, Tim Duncan could retire, and you can get to the game all fired up, all psyched up, and you paid $100 for your ticket, and then you see that Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili.
That's not the coach's problem.
That's
more of a front office thing where they need to lower ticket prices. Basketball games, I feel, are overpriced. They should be more ranged around baseball prices, personally. But the coach has one job, and that's to make his team as most prepared as they can for the game.
But as far as resting players, who was it? The Nuggets that rested?
Yeah.
Y'all are
20 wins.
Y'all are 20 and whatever. How dare you? How dare teams like that?
I agree with you. I agree with you in that. I guess I have problems with coaches that just play their players like crazy. Tom Thibodeau really bothers me. At moments, I just see
you have a vendetta against Thibodeau.
The game is over. There's no way the other team can come back. And I'm looking at the people on the court. I'm just starter. We're up by 20.
Maybe one
starter in the game.
Maybe Ty just the only.
I'm looking at the players on the floor. I'm like, why are these guys still in the game? Why? What is the purpose? What are you doing? And then players get injured. It just bothers me. It just boggles my mind why he just
what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. How many rings he got?
But it's one
as an assistant. But
don't knock that. That's still impressive.
As a head coach, he doesn't have. He never even appeared in an NBA championship series as a head coach.
Most head coaches are gone after their first season.
But it's just
it just bothers me the way he manages his players.
When he was the head assistant on that Boston championship team, I remember them playing against the Bulls in Chicago, and they pressed the Bulls the whole fourth quarter.
What does that have to do with minutes?
Let me finish. They were up. It was a substantial lead. They could have pulled KG, Pierce, Ray Allen, and Rondo, and still would have won by 20. What did they do? They kept them in the whole fourth quarter.
I just that stuff like that bothers me, dude. And I just like I watch like especially with all the injuries, like we're
like, don't get me wrong, like
our Bulls are always injured. We have like it's always something with the Bulls, and like I just see them like.
Is that Coach Tibbs' fault? It seems like the injury virus of the bug is plaguing everyone in the NBA.
But
why do you blame Tibbs?
It is the Bulls have a lot more injuries than almost any other team. Maybe besides maybe the Thunder at this point, but like Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler, Taj, Derrick Rose. Like these guys are just Mike Dunleavy was out forever.
McDermott missed the beginning of the season, but he didn't really play much anyway. So,
like these players are
he's
always
kind of getting back into the.
Oh yeah, now
he's
doing it.
These players are always seems like there's always something in Chicago with some kind of injury, and it's just like it seems like the minutes that he plays his players.
You point the finger at Coach Thibodeau.
Yeah, absolutely.
Injuries, like it's one of those things that
I kind of
very hard to
prevent. That's a 50-50 type thing. Like if the player's hurt. Like, there's a difference between being injured and being hurt.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, like, if a player's hurt, like, they're going to go out there and play no matter what. Like,
most players.
Yeah.
Like Kobe, like, when Kobe has, like, the highest tolerance for pain I've probably ever seen in my life next to Allen Iverson.
Iverson's a tough
answer.
Playing, like, they play hurt probably, like, Kobe's probably played hurt his whole career.
At this point of the season, nobody's really healthy, I guess would say. At this point, like as you get to like the dog days of the NBA, there's always every player has like some kind of nick on them that they have to play with.
Even LeBron had to take 2 weeks off. Like what does that tell you? Like this is
he
like
missed the game with the knee.
Like this is the most like talk about a perfect physical specimen. Like this is LeBron.
I think players are managed like more than they ever have been at any point. Like you'll side on the side of caution because of all the money that's involved in a player.
Now, I think one way to avoid, like I'm not gonna say avoid because injuries are gonna happen. I think a step in the right direction would like I would be a fan of getting rid of back-to-backs. Like I would space out, like it would still be an 82 game schedule, but I would space them out.
I love the back-to-backs. I just as a fan, I'm a fan of the back-to-back.
Like the Bulls played last night. They're playing again tonight. They go to Detroit tonight.
Yeah, that's not that far.
I mean, it's not that far, but it's still a back-to-back.
Yeah, the back-to-backs don't bother me. I mean, there's nothing really you can do about injuries. The players are going to get injured. It's just part of the game. But it seems like this season has more than ever before.
What do you think now? Like, would you be a fan of stretching? Like getting rid of back-to-backs?
I'm actually kind of siding with David on this one. I don't feel like back-to-backs are the killer or the root of this injury bug in the NBA. Yeah, I can see what you're saying, that it does have some wear and tear on players. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a fluke incident. Or maybe it's the doctors or like how they're pushed in practice. Yeah. There could be so many exterior variables. It's very hard to come up with an elaborate answer.
It could also be the players' work ethic and how their diet is and things like that. Mm-hmm. That factor into how players get injured.
And then like there's some like collapsed lungs like Terrence Jones and other players like just
freak stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, which like you never want to see that. So it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what is causing this injury bug, but
so we're gonna do a quick segue, real quick MVP conversation. Each you get a minute to make your claim for a player. Everybody's got to pick a different player.
Okay.
Catch.
Okay.
Go.
Oh, so I'm gonna start off. Well,
All right. You seem too confident. We'll give it to Hopkins.
Okay.
Thank you. I think the last time we talked about MVP, I don't remember. I think I picked
I'm gonna whip
Curry.
out the stopwatch on you.
Did I pick Curry? I picked Curry. I've been officially swayed. I'm going with Harden. I mean, got put up 50 the other night, and my claim is he has to work with considerably less. Like his other
considerably less. Dude. It's not even close.
His other weapon hasn't played in like what seems like forever.
Superman.
Like you can't have the nickname Superman. You ain't played in like 23. Like you've missed the last 23 games. But it's just like James, like it's fear the beard. Like this is his year to win MVP. Like don't get me wrong, Curry is what Curry is doing. He's out of his mind. He's playing out of his mind. Westbrook is also out of his mind. But it's like you haven't played enough games to even
I don't know about it. At this point, I think he's played enough to be in the conversation. I guess.
Okay, he's in the conversation. It's just like 9 triple doubles. Like you can't look past that. But James Harden, like he's done it night in, night out. He's averaging 28 a game, and if he doesn't contribute, like if he doesn't do what he does, the Rockets do not win. It's not like if Curry doesn't. Like Curry shot 2 for 10 from 3 last night, and they still won. Like, are you kidding me? Like if Harden goes 2 for 10, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Okay, TJ, I think you stole Dave's pick.
I got another one.
So I'm just going to try to stack this on top of Dave. I originally did pick Steph Curry, and I can totally see him hoisting the MVP trophy, but I'm going with Anthony Davis when the Pelicans make the playoffs because
it's not going to happen.
Because I feel the Thunder are falling.
He's injured again. Do you realize he's injured again?
Yeah, I know he missed last night, but if he plays, I don't know how long he's going to miss. But Anthony Davis, I feel, is more critical, more important, more vital to his team than any of these players.
That's why they went like 4-0 when he was gone.
Yeah, I mean,
in a small sample size, but
it's a very small sample size. But do you see Anthony Davis play? You see the numbers he puts up. He flirts with a quadruple double.
He kind of does the same thing Westbrook does,
but
to an extent.
But plays a better defense, better rim protector. If they make the playoffs and if they may move up to the 7th seed, and if Anthony Davis is healthy, I can see him stealing that trophy. You're up, Dave.
All right, so I know you picked Anthony Davis because you thought I picked Steph Curry, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick LA, LaMarcus Aldridge.
That's such a weird pick.
I'm gonna pick LaMarcus Aldridge.
What?
But he's the way he's been playing the last month has been just ridiculous. He's been ridiculous.
I haven't heard anything from him.
Look at his stats, man. Look at his. Go home and look at his stats. But he's been a man. Like everyone thought he was going to be out for a long extended time.
So you're saying because he's played like a man for a month, he should
more than a month. Look at his numbers, dude. LaMarcus Aldridge is the best player on the Trailblazers. And he single-handedly brings them to victory.
Single-handedly?
Yeah, single-handedly.
Well, what about Damian Lillard?
He's been extremely streaky at times.
Streaky.
He's had a pretty rough season.
He hasn't had a season like the rest of the seasons before. It's been LaMarcus Aldridge and everyone else. Like even with Wesley Matthews going out now, Marcus Aldridge has been consistent, and he continuously leads that team to victories.
So he's your most valuable. He's more valuable than Steph Curry, more valuable than James Harden, more valuable than Russell Westbrook.
He took James Harden. And I just wanted to make an argument for somebody different than everyone. Every conversation is always the same. It's always Harden.
Yeah, because LaMarcus Aldridge,
it can't get no different than Anthony.
LaMarcus Aldridge, dude, has been playing.
He's a second-tier MVP. If it you eliminate all the top-notch guys, you can give it to LaMarcus Aldridge, but
LaMarcus Aldridge should get some consideration. I just want to give a shout out to LaMarcus Aldridge. I love LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge will receive 0 MVP votes.
If you have
0, no, he will get.
He's not getting a first. He's not getting a second.
He might not.
And I doubt he'll even get a third.
That's right. So your top 5 MVP candidates right now.
My top 5: James Harden, Steph Curry, LaMarcus Aldridge, Westbrook, LeBron.
All right.
Yeah.
He put him third.
I know that was weird. That was uncomfortable. Okay, so despite
the kind of cringe.
Despite the case I just made for Anthony Davis, I'm gonna be just realistic. Steph Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, AD, LeBron, LaMarcus Aldridge, 8th.
Wow. Just threw LA just completely under the bus. Like,
hey, I'll give him top 10.
I'm going with Harden, Curry, Davis, because he's just.
Dude, he's been injured so much this season, dude.
But when he plays.
Yeah, when he plays. Yeah, when he decides he wants to play.
Decides when he wants to play. Are you saying he's not tough?
I'm not gonna get involved in that conversation right now.
That's some hyperbole.
So Harden, Curry, Davis, Westbrook.
LA.
I don't even know who I want as a fit. Like
LaMarcus Aldridge, dude.
I feel like
go home and look at his numbers.
I can't put LeBron up there because it's not like he just up and decided to take 2 weeks off.
Dude, it was just but it's like in the big scheme. Of
I
things,
put Kyle Lowry ahead of LaMarcus Aldridge.
What?
FYI.
What?
And John Wall.
No, come on, be serious.
And maybe even Chris Paul too.
No, get out of here.
You just giving him
what is your fifth? What is your fifth? What is your fifth?
Give him a heart attack.
What is your fifth?
I mean,
you could pick any point guard that you could throw ahead of LaMarcus
No,
Aldridge.
no.
Wow.
This is ridiculous.
Or any top-notch.
Mike
point guard
Conley.
this season.
Mike Conley better than Marcus Aldridge?
No. I'll give LaMarcus Aldridge the.
like my fifth might have to be LeBron. I mean, because that's just like because right now I can't really think of.
You haven't seen the Marcus Aldridge stats either.
I can't really think of
You haven't
anyone
seen
outside
the numbers.
LaMarcus Aldridge is having a great season, Dave. I'm not knocking that, but he is not the MVP, and he's not even close to MVP.
He should be in the conversation.
I don't think
He
he's
should
top
not be in the
five.
conversation.
He should be in the conversation.
Like if MVP went top 10, he's top 10.
You know what
He's not
conversation
top
I'll have
He's-
with
he-
LaMarcus Aldridge? Second team NBA. I'll
Damn.
talk
No,
about
dude,
that.
he's
Damn,
that'd be nice.
He's definitely going to be a first team
Damn.
NBA power forward.
I don't think so.
No, he will be. He's going to be first team NBA center or power forward, one of the two. He's going to be either one of those two guys.
He'll be either of those two for the second team.
No, he'll
I'd
be
say.
no, dude. He's definitely going to be all NBA first team.
He's not
Well,
getting past
Anthony
Pau Gasol for
Davis.
first team.
Anthony Davis and him.
Anthony Davis will receive.
Anthony
that
Davis and
honor.
him are going to be the starting power forward and
I
center.
think Pau Gasol's played a
Pau
lot more
Gasol's gonna be
impressive.
first
No,
team.
then LaMarcus Aldridge, dude.
Yes.
No way.
He leads the league in double doubles.
Pau Gasol, his number as the season goes on, his numbers have declined a little bit.
He's so consistent though.
So is LaMarcus Aldridge.
Double doubles, like
He has a lot of double doubles.
yes, he does.
He leads the league in double doubles.
And when your entire team goes down, Pau Gasol has been the one bright spot, the one consistent player
He's
over
got a
the
point.
Bulls.
He's
Same
got
thing.
a
Say
point.
you can make the same argument for LaMarcus Aldridge.
I can't
the
really.
Trailblazers, all of those teams,
Yeah,
all those players on the Trailblazers are super
but-
consistent. Robert Lopez was injured. You had
Oh,
Nicholas
Robert
Nicholas Batum is inconsistent. Is inconsistent as
The mascot abuser, Robin
Yeah.
Lopez.
yeah.
The one-
Nicholas Batum is inconsistent.
Oh, so? Did he
Wesley
still
Matthews got
play?
injured.
But
You got Damian Lillard is having a down season.
But that team goes as Lillard goes.
No,
not
that
as
team goes as
Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge goes. Are you kidding me?
No.
He's the straw that stirs that drink.
No.
Yeah.
I think him and Damian Lillard kind of like switch leads.
No, it's him.
You know,
No,
At some
absolutely
point,
not.
it is LaMarcus.
I literally think they talk to each other, but like before games, like, hey man, you want it tonight? No, man, go ahead. It's
No,
yours.
that-
You,
I
you
think-
can be captain of the
Hey, you
ship
can be
tonight.
captain tonight. I'll get it next game.
It's LA. It's all LA.
I honestly think
What's
it's
next?
50.
What's next?
I think
What's next?
I think that's it for the
What's
triangle.
next?
That's it for the triangle for today.
I'm done beating up on Dave
What's
for the
next?
day.
So,
Marcus Aldridge.
this is the triangle signing out, and we love LaMarcus Aldridge at the triangle.
No,
we
we don't.
love him.
That is a one-man show. That's a one-man fan show.
That's one man love.
All right, peace out, everyone.
See ya.
We'll be back next week.